Hello everybody, it's Bendominator and welcome back to another episode of the Bendominator podcast. And man, it has been a while since I have said that, but yeah, we are back again with another Bendominator podcast. We are on episode 7 of the podcast. I'm going to be continuing from where we left off last time we did episode 6, so this is going to be episode 7. And yeah, we are back doing the podcast yet again. Now, this episode was actually planned to be with me and a few dev team members, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to reschedule that and make that episode one of the later episodes, because we just never really had time to do it, and if we did have time to do it, we would rather be working on other things, like making maps or other stuff, and then also, I've just been pretty busy this weekend in general, and yeah, and I have a pretty cool video that will be coming up very soon, either tomorrow or the day after, that I've been working on as well. That's taken quite a long time to actually plan for, but I'm going to be recording that video pretty soon as well and editing and getting it up hopefully tomorrow. But yeah, overall, I am very excited to be back doing the podcast again. I asked a ton of people on Discord for some questions. Once I get a community tab, I will be asking for podcast questions on there as well, but for now, it's just my Discord. So if you want to join my Discord server, the link will be in the description below. You can also subscribe if you're new and you enjoy the content, and if you really want to help me out, you can use my support creator code Bendominator in the Fortnite item shop when purchasing anything, #ad, only if you really want to support me. But yeah, if you are new to the podcast and you've never seen a Bendominator podcast before, which is very possible because the last time I made one of these, I was only at 300 subscribers. Which, yeah, is kind of crazy. Like, the last time I did this, I was at 300 subs, and I'm doing it again at 1k subs. Which is really exciting, because back then, there's definitely a lot of interaction and stuff on my videos, but I feel like when I was doing it, I'd only get like a few questions each week, and I feel like now, especially once I get that community tab up and running, we're going to be seeing a lot more questions coming in. I'm going to have a lot more stuff to talk about. And overall, Fortnite's just in a way better spot right now, I feel like, than it was back then. Because back when I was doing the podcast, it was during Season 4 of Chapter 2, which wasn't really my favorite season, and it wasn't really full of a ton of content. So there wasn't really a lot to talk about, other than, like, Fortnitemares and stuff when that came out. I remember doing a few podcasts talking about that. But I feel like most of the podcasts during that season, I was kind of just talking about how I wasn't really playing the game that much, and how I didn't really like the season that much. But this season, it's going to be a lot different. Now that this season is actually really good, we're in Chapter 2, Season 7 right now. And it's just a lot of fun. The season's been really good. I feel like so far, I'm kind of in that group where I really like it, but I'm not going out of my way to say it's like my favorite season ever. The reception of this season, Chapter 2, Season 7, has been extremely, like, overwhelmingly positive, at least from what I've seen on Twitter, and that's kind of surprising to me. I feel like that hasn't happened in a while, and it's just kind of crazy to me, because for once, I'm actually kind of one of the people who's just like, yeah, it's really good, but, like, I mean, I don't think it's, like, the best season in the world, if you know what I mean. I think it's definitely far better than last season, which is weird, because last season, at the start of the season, actually, majority of the season, I loved last season. I thought last season was amazing. I love how it changed the game. I love the crafting. But as the season went on, I mean, I still really liked it. I loved it, honestly, up until the last few weeks. And looking back on this season, it's just kind of, I realized a lot of the negatives, and I don't really know why I liked it so much. It's so weird. I've never felt that way with the season before, but that season was so weird. I think I was just having fun with Fortnite. I don't think it was really the season that was making me have fun. I think I just really had an urge to just play BR a ton. And I don't know why. I think it's probably because the last 2 seasons I really only played creative. And going back into BR like full swing in Season 6 just felt really good. And I think it was also my motivation to just stream more and just play more and get better. And I think I just had a lot of fun playing BR that season, and I don't think a lot of other people did have very much fun playing BR that season. I don't think the season was very good. I don't think Chapter 2 Season 6 was a great season in any stretch of the imagination, but I was just having fun with Fortnite during that time. I don't know what it was, but I was just having a ton of fun making content, playing the game, and I'm still having fun playing the game, but I feel like now that the new season's come out, I've kind of slowed down on the game a little bit. I do plan to make a lot more content than I have been lately in the coming weeks and stuff, but it's weird. It's weird for me to like play a crap ton of a season that wasn't that great, and then a new season comes out and it's like the best thing ever, and everybody's getting back into it, and I'm over here being like, yeah, it's really good, but I'll just go play some creative still majority of the time. It's really weird. It doesn't feel right, but I do want to get into playing BR more, and I think that's going to happen, especially with me streaming more. I'm going to try to do some more early morning streams. And I'm going to be playing BR, playing solos live and stuff like that. And of course, getting Brim Royale stuff, which is also very exciting because Brim Royale is going to be seeing its Chapter 2 Season 2 update very, very soon. Actually, this Friday is when we are going to be seeing that. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for that as well because we've been working very hard on that season. It's a season that especially me, is something that I've kind of wanted to see from Fortnite. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to release it. Brim Royale is kind of the kind of thing that we work on. Especially for me, I can't really speak for the rest of the dev team, but for me, Brim Royale is what I always wish Fortnite was. It's a bit more chaotic. It's a bit more fun, in my opinion. Maybe that's a bit of me just like being like, oh, the thing we created is so good. But I really truly believe that just not only making the map, but just playing Brim Royale, doing those live streams is the most fun I have playing Fortnite, I think, in general. I think I have more fun doing just streaming Brim Royale than doing anything else in Fortnite. And while streaming does get a little bit exhausting after a while, well, it does drain my energy quite a bit. It is worth it. It is fun. And I just love playing Brim Royale with you guys. I love your guys' dedication to Brim Royale. I'm glad you guys are excited. It seems that a lot of people are quite excited for Season 2. I've been getting a lot of questions. A lot of people DMing me asking about it. And yeah, that's another thing too, guys. I never really get a chance to talk about stuff like this because I don't really do the podcast anymore. But now that we're back doing the podcast again, I actually have some kind of things to talk about. But I did want to talk about this because I do get like a lot of DMs, not only from people who watch my channel, but just from friends and stuff. And I just wanted to tell you guys that if I don't respond to your DM right away, or I don't get around to responding to it, don't feel bad. I can't respond to everybody's DMs on Discord and stuff like that. So if I never respond to your DM, I apologize. That doesn't mean I'm ignoring you. It's just I have a lot of stuff coming in. I'm just busy in general. So I apologize if I don't respond to your DMs all the time. If the best way to ask me things is to either ask me them on my Discord server, or to leave a comment on one of my videos, or most importantly, now that the podcast's back, is to leave it in the podcast Q&A that I'm going to be holding every single week. So how I'm going to do it is that every week I'm going to be trying to do these podcasts on Sundays. I know this one's coming out on Monday, but I'm going to try to do it on Sundays every single week. I'm going to be holding a Q&A for the podcast. So today on my Discord server, we have a question of the day channel. If you go to the reaction roles, you can actually get a role that pings you each time there's a question of the day. And on Sundays or Mondays or whenever I do the podcast, I'm going to be pinging that role. I'm going to be pinging question of the day, and I'm going to be asking you guys what questions you have for the podcast. And then there's a channel that you can put all your questions in. And then once I get a community tab, I'm just going to be doing a community post where I say, hey, put your questions for the podcast in the comments of this community post, and I'll be going through that as well. But yeah, overall, very excited about that. So yeah, apologies if I don't get all your DMs, guys. I just wanted to say that on a podcast because I don't really have anywhere else to say it. So I thought the podcast would be a good spot to just let you guys know if anybody was wondering. Because I do feel bad when I'm not able to respond to DMs and stuff. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, overall, just really excited to be back on the podcast. Excited for Brim Royale. Excited for a lot of things. Excited to see what Fortnite does with Chapter 2 Season 7. I've been having a lot of fun with it so far. Overall, everyone seems to be liking the season. I haven't seen like a lot of negative reception about it. The most negative stuff I've seen is about the UFOs and the what you call it? The real gun. And overall, in my video, I did make a first impressions video about Chapter 2 Season 7. And I did talk about the UFOs briefly. I did say that I feel like they could nerf the fire rate on the kind of the Orb Blaster a little bit, and I still kind of stand true to that. I still think that could be nerfed a bit. In terms of the Railgun, honestly, I don't think that it's that overpowered, if I'm being completely honest. I think I talked about in my video that maybe it could be nerfed a little bit, but it really doesn't do much damage. The whole point of it is to break through walls, which can be a tad annoying, but you just kind of got to build a bit more. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. Overall, I don't find the Railgun that bad anymore. I did at the beginning of the season a little bit, but I think I just needed to adjust to it. The UFOs really aren't that bad either. In fact, I feel like using a UFO kind of gives you a disadvantage because they're very easy to get shot down. It's just the fire rate on those orbs are a bit much sometimes. But yeah, overall, I don't think the balancing is nearly as bad as a lot of people say it is, but that's just my opinion. In terms of the actual season, it's just fun. It's really, really fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. The only thing that I am kind of hoping for is that we get a few more map changes throughout the middle of the season, because as of now, I don't have a problem with the map. I'm glad that they kind of took a step back and they just made these little POIs around the place. I like that. I like the IO bases. I like Corny Complexes, like the main new POI. I think it's really cool. I don't think it's as good as Frenzy Farm, but I still really like it. But honestly, I just hope that Bony Burbs changes. And it seems that from a few leaks that we're going to be seeing some changes to Coral Castle, which is going to be interesting to find out. And that also leads me to, will we get an update this Tuesday? Probably not, because it's only been a week since the season is releases. They usually do updates every 2 weeks, but the reason I think that is because we've already been getting a lot of stuff for the next update. We've already been seeing quite a few leaks about Coral Castle and all these things that might be in future updates, it doesn't have to be next update. And then also just, there's like no new leaked skins that they can release, and usually when they're running out of leaked skins to release, that's when they usually put out an update. And yeah, it's weird because the season came out, there was like quite a few leaked skins that they could have stretched over 2 weeks. But they just released them all in like 1 week, like back to back to back to back. And I feel like that might mean we're getting another update soon, at least just so that they can put more skins into the game. Even if it's just for skin leaks, I'd be fine with that. But I don't know, maybe not. Maybe they are just going to go a full week without releasing anything new, which would be kind of weird, because I feel like that hasn't happened in a very long time, but maybe it has and I'm just misremembering. But I don't know. I guess they could release some update with just some skins in it. I don't know. I feel like the fact that they don't have any skins left to release into the item shop unless they're encrypted, leads me to believe that there might be an update on Tuesday. I really hope so. I mean, that would be tomorrow. So I guess we'll find out today. If that happens, I guess we'll find out later today, in a few hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours-ish. I'm kind of hoping, but if not, then I guess we'll go a whole week without any new skin leaks. And yeah, I mean, I'm not fully expecting it. I'm just hoping for it to happen, and I feel like there's a bit of things pointing towards it, but that's just me. So take what I say with a grain of salt. Doesn't mean it's happening. I have no insider info at all. I haven't heard really anybody say that other than me. Maybe other people have thought that as well, but in terms of actual Twitter people, leakers and stuff, no one's really brought that up as far as I'm aware. So it's probably not very likely, is what I'm trying to say. Also, apologies if I stutter a bit or I mince my words. I'm not used to talking. I don't know why it is. When I make videos, there's so many times I gotta cut out because I'm always like messing up my words and stuff. Recording videos takes a while. I don't know if anybody here has ever tried to if anybody listening to this has ever tried to record a commentary video, but just take it from me and take it from a lot of other people who've done it as well that I've heard from. It's not easy because for some reason, when you try to say something very specific that you want your brain to say, or something that you're reading off a page or reading off notes, which I'm not even doing right now, so it shouldn't even be happening. It's just very easy to mess up your words and stuff. So I apologize if I do that on this podcast like I just did. I do that on stream too. I'll be talking to like friends and stuff, and it's fine. I don't normally mince my words and stuff. I don't normally kind of fumble my words a lot, but whenever I'm on stream or whenever I'm recording for a video, it just happens all the time. So I apologize if you listen to this podcast and that happens. Maybe I'll get better at it as I continue doing it. But yeah, that will happen a bit. So I do apologize about that if I do mince my words a lot, because that just happens when I'm recording things. I guess I'm just under pressure or something. I don't know what the deal is. But that just happens. I also tend to talk a lot faster as well, which just happens in my videos generally, happens on stream. So I don't know why that is either, but I guess that just happens. I guess when I'm making a podcast or I'm making a video, I just talk really fast and I mince my words a lot. So I guess you will just have to deal with that. I hope you guys don't mind too much. But yeah, anyway, moving past that, hopefully we get an update. I'm not expecting one, but it would be interesting to see, and I feel like it could happen. But yeah, overall, very excited about that, hopefully. The next update is most likely, I don't even know what they would add. There's so much stuff they could add, I don't even know. I hope maybe they all add the gravity gun. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, not really sure about that. But yeah, what do you guys think about this season? I'm curious. If you guys want to leave questions down below. Also, yeah, I should have mentioned this as well. If you guys have questions for the podcast, leave them in the comments too of this video. So I guess there's a ton of ways to do it. You can leave your questions in the comments of this video. You can leave them in the community post when I make one, or in my Discord server when I make a question of the day post. You can put them there. Maybe I'll even make a channel on the Discord server just for podcast questions. That might be a pretty good idea to do as well. There's going to be a lot of ways you guys can give me questions. So hopefully, if you want your question answered, it shouldn't be too hard to do that. So I'm excited to see some questions. I do have quite a few questions for this episode already, but I'm going to be waiting on those. I'm normally going to do questions a bit later in the podcast, like I did before. And yeah, we're just chilling, talking about Fortnite and all that kind of cool stuff. It feels weird to do one of these again. I know I'm kind of talking about this already, but it does feel weird to do a podcast again. It's been a while, and I'm not really used to doing it again. It feels like I'm doing it for the first time, even though when I did it before, I feel like I got pretty used to doing it. I got pretty good at it, but now I feel like this is kind of a mess. I'm already bad at it, but hopefully you guys are enjoying doing or listening to this. And yeah, as somebody who really likes to listen to podcasts myself, I really hope that somebody is able to listen to this and just enjoy this like I'm able to enjoy other podcasts that I listen to. That's kind of the goal with this. The goal of this is just kind of to make something that people can turn on in the background, listen to, and if they're bored, just have something to enjoy. And I feel like when I did the podcast originally, it seems that worked for a lot of people. Pretty much anyone who told me, or anyone who watched or listened to that podcast told me that they were able to kind of listen to it and just kind of do other things like play Fortnite or whatever. And that's kind of the goal of this. And I feel like that's the goal of many podcasts, but it's kind of nice. And it's also another goal of it is just to kind of interact with you guys more through the questions and kind of give some kind of Q&A when I'm not necessarily making a Q&A video. I was going to make like a Q&A video for 1,000 subs, but I thought that's just kind of what the podcast is. The podcast is just kind of a long form Q&A. Of course, that's not all it is, but it does have that in there. And it's also just something for me to ramble onto, just something for me to just talk a lot of stuff, just talk my mind. And even if I don't really talk about a lot of personal stuff, just stuff about the channel, just stuff about YouTube, just stuff about Fortnite in general, because that's what you guys are all here for, I'm sure. Also, I didn't even talk about this, but for Season 7, we did another 10-hour live stream, and I cannot express how fun that was. That was awesome. I'm probably not going to be able to do another one of those for next season. I probably won't be able to do one for a while, unless things line up perfectly like they did the last 2 times. But man, I love doing those streams. They're a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot, and I did the full 10 hours. I did 10 hours and 3 minutes. And also, like, you guys were there to support me the whole way. There are some people who stayed the whole time. It's so cool to see. Like, every time I go, like, when I go into one of those, I say every time, like, it happens a lot, but I've only done it 2 times. But when I go into one of those, I always think that, like, oh man, no one's gonna watch this. Like, maybe people will show up to start, but during the middle, like, no one's gonna stay up all night to watch this stream. But people do. People stay up all night, whether it's good for their health or not. People will stay up all night just to watch the stream, and it's really fun. I think a lot of people are driven by their hype for the next season as well. So it's just awesome. Everybody, it's just a cool place where it's just so cool. I've never kind of done that before. If it wasn't for YouTube, it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to experience something like that. So I hope you guys have as much fun as I do with those streams, because it's something very unique to being a content creator on YouTube, to experience that. Even if you're not a content creator, even if you're just watching a stream like that, it's a very unique experience to kind of host something like that. And it's very, very fun. So I'm glad that I was able to share the hype of the next season with everyone in that live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, because that's really, I love doing those. And I hope at least for next season I can do some sort of live stream. Maybe it's not like an all 10-hour one, but maybe before the season launches, I'll kind of get up really early and stream it for you guys. But in terms of 10-hour ones, I probably won't have the opportunity to do that in a very long time. So that's a bit disappointing, but I'll make the most of it. We'll see what we can do for next season. Because next season's not going to be till September, which is fine with me, because I like it when the seasons are a bit longer. I don't know. I don't like it when they're too long, but this season's going to be in a bit like 90-day-ish range. I think that's a good length for the season. I like when they take their time, as long as they give us a suitable amount of content. I think we'll be good. I think it'll be a good season. So I'm very, very excited. I also made a video before the season started. I made it like a week ago. I made a combo video. It's kind of a bit of a fashion show with the dev team. I want to do more stuff like that. It seemed that a lot of people actually liked the video. A lot of people were interested in that. So we'll probably be doing more of that kind of stuff as well. And yeah, just super, super cool with that. I did want to talk a bit. I'm probably going to save a lot of this for the dev team episode. I don't know why I said developer team. But I did want to talk about a bit of just Morale, because Morale is a pretty big thing on this channel. Of course, again, season 2 is coming up very, very soon. In fact, I might even be releasing some teaser images on the Discord server very soon, and when I get a community tab, I'll put them there as well. So, but if you guys want to get like first access to the teaser images of the next season, they're going to be up very soon, at least maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see, depending on how many teaser images I have made, because I've started working on them, of course, but there's a few more I've yet to make. So it depends on if I finish all of them, or if there's only going to be 3 or 4 or however many there's going to be. But just Chapter 2 of Morale has been such a positive experience so far. I like the reception a lot. There's a few questions about Morale that I'll get to later too. But man, it's been so much fun streaming that. You guys have been awesome. And I'm going to try and stream it even more. I haven't been streaming it as much as I'd like to. Once Season 2 comes out, of course, I'm going to stream it a lot more as well. But man, when Season 1 of Chapter 2 came out, that was like the best time for Morale I think we've ever had so far. A lot of people really enjoyed the ending of Chapter 1. And man, I'm just really proud of what we were able to do with Chapter 1 of Morale. Everyone in the dev team did an amazing job. And I just feel like we told a really interesting story. The story's still going, of course, but Chapter 1 was just kind of, yeah, it was a chapter, obviously. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but it's just a neat experience, and I'm just happy with it, and I'm so glad that we're able to kind of be a part of this smaller creative community. And I mean, the creative community really is interesting to me, because it's not like a ton of big like YouTubers with millions of subscribers. I mean, you got like Mustard Plays, who is a pretty big creative YouTuber, but for the most part, it's just a bunch of people with, I mean, like, I'm not gonna say a tiny amount of subscribers, but like it's not like huge channels, and it's just really cool because it's a nice little small community. It feels a lot smaller, and it's nice, and I like it a lot. And I'm glad that Brimorale is able to be a part of that. So I'm really happy with that, and that's just really cool in my opinion. I'm really glad what we did with Chapter 1. Of course, we'll talk about this a lot more on the Dev Team podcast because we're going to talk about kind of our experience with Brimorale and each and every person on the Dev Team, at least as many people as we can get on that episode to talk about it. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about how thankful I was. Thank you guys so much for playing the map too and being on the streams. It seems that people are very excited about it. And I'm just excited about Season 2, and I hope you guys are as well. Again, teasers will be up soon. If not today, then definitely tomorrow. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I think we could probably start getting into some questions here, since I don't really have much else to talk about. I didn't really write a lot of notes for this episode of the podcast, so I didn't really have a lot of stuff to talk about just yet. But I guess we'll move on to some questions. All right, so Nightkeeper asks, do you think Brimorale will be featured? Now, I did submit Brimorale to be featured quite a while ago, actually, Chapter 2 of Season 1, but they did not get back to me, so I'm guessing that it's probably not going to be featured, at least not Season 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to submit each season as they come out. So once Season 2 comes out, I will submit it to be featured. If that doesn't get accepted, then Season 3, Season 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however long we go. So I hope it gets featured one day. It seems that with how featuring is right now, that maybe not, because Epic is looking for very specific things that are very replayable and make them the most profit. So especially when it comes to I feel like Epic right now is really kind of going into that kind of roleplay map thing, and it's kind of turning into a bit more of like a Roblox landscape. I've been noticing with things like Tiny Town and stuff like that, Prison Breakout, and a lot of those games are really fun, I won't lie, but I feel like it's going in a weird direction right now. I don't know what they're doing, but it's definitely different, because creative mostly for the most part has all been about like the best PvP maps and like parkour courses and stuff like that. But it's kind of shifting to a bit more of a role-playing thing, a bit more Roblox-y, a bit more Tycoon games are kind of being featured. And I feel like at some point, maybe some of these more combat maps will be a way of the past. Mini BRs really haven't been that supported in the featured map section very much in general, like at all. So it's already kind of hard to get a mini BR map featured in the first place. So I just feel like I have a feeling that that's not really what they're looking for right now. But I could be completely wrong. Again, I'm still going to keep trying to get it featured until it gets featured. I'm just going to keep trying and trying and trying. Because I feel like one of these days it has to happen. Because, I mean, Brimorale Chapter 2 Season 1 is the map that got us a creator code. So if you use that logic, I mean, they must like the map enough, because getting a creator code from one of your maps it's not an easy thing to do. I know a lot of people have done it, and they've made some pretty insane stuff to get themselves that code without reaching the subscriber milestone or follower milestone or whatever. So yeah, it's just weird. It's interesting. I don't know how they pick that stuff. I have a feeling that maybe it's just not what they're looking for right now. Maybe they're not really looking to feature mini BR maps right now, because I just haven't gotten a response at all. Last time, at least, Brimorale got into the kind of decision-making process, and then they told me, nah, we picked something else over yours, which is understandable, especially when it was Chapter 1, because Chapter 1 was not that great of a map. So I don't think it's necessarily the quality of the map right now. I think it's just what they're looking for. I think they're picking other maps. I think they're picking more of the kind of practice maps, the more of the realistic 1v1s, the more of the Tycoon role-playing games. I think that's kind of what they're looking for, especially now they're looking for summer games and stuff, so we'll see what happens with that. I'm curious to see. The day that gets featured, though, is going to be one of the happiest days ever. It's going to be so fun. Once it gets featured, we're going to be streaming it all day. I'm going to be playing it as much as I possibly can, because I don't think like if it gets featured, just imagine how fun it would be to just play Brim like off stream. Just go and do matchmaking and just find people who are playing it. And that is just going to be an awesome feeling. And I really hope that happens one day. But hey, it's Epic's decision, and you got to respect that. So we'll see what happens, if they ever accept it or not. But every single season, I will be submitting the map again. So we'll see what happens with that. Nightkeeper also asks, what are your thoughts on the meta this season so far? How do you think it will change based on leaked items? Right now, it's actually pretty solid. I think the meta right now is pretty good. I feel like SMGs and stuff are it's weird because I feel like ARs and SMGs are so common right now, but the meta feels definitely very classic. I feel like it's mostly just simple shotgun fights. I think with the introduction of crazier items, that will definitely change. UFOs seem to be the meta as well. A lot of players are using UFOs right now, but I feel like they're really easy to get killed with as well. Like, they're easy to kill you, but they're also really easy to get killed with as well. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword on that one. But yeah, overall the meta's fun. I just think the season's fun in general. I just think that railgun's the meta as well. I guess people are using that as well. I think railgun or UFOs are like the biggest players in the new meta. But like I said before, after quite a bit of playing and quite a bit of time, they're not really that overpowered. I don't think either of them are really that powerful. I think the UFO's fire rate could be nerfed a bit. But other than that, like, honestly, it's good. It's balanced, I feel like, for the most part. And yeah, I just like it. All the weapons feel great to use. Unlike last season, the primals and makeshifts does not feel great. This season, all the new weapons feel awesome, especially the ray gun. I love the ray gun. I really hope it gets a buff, because it's a bit weak at the moment. But I do really, really like it. And it's just a really fun weapon to use. Even if it's not that powerful, I still use it anyway because it's fun. And whenever I get a kill with it, it feels extra rewarding. Because it really isn't that great, so it's really fun to get a kill with it. But I do hope they buff it. I do hope they buff the ray gun. I hope ray gun becomes a new meta. I hope that that UFO fire rate gets a bit nerfed other than that. And I hope the railgun just stays the same. I really hope they just don't touch it. In my video, I said that they should nerf the ability to break through walls, but that's what makes it special. That's what makes it unique, and it doesn't really do a lot of damage. It does like 89 damage body shot. It's not very good for a sniper if you think about it. So, yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the railgun, honestly. I don't use it that much because I prefer just using the bolt. I'm a simple man. I prefer the bolt if I'm gonna snipe. But the ray gun's not the ray gun. The railgun's cool. I appreciate it. I like the railgun, and I think it brings variety. I think it's fun, and I don't think it's that overpowered. I really don't think it's that bad. So yeah, I think the loot pool, the meta, whatever you wanna call it, I think it's fun. I think it's good, and I hope that the gravity gun is fun as well. It seems like it's kind of going to take the ability of that the UFO beam has and put it into a weapon, and I'm excited for that. I'm assuming that's going to be the next thing we get, but I don't know. I'm not really sure. Also, the shotgun. I cannot wait for the shotgun. Once we get that new shotgun, that's going to be awesome. I'm very, very excited for that. Anyway, moving on. He also asks, how do you feel about Pickle Rick not being a skin? I'm so glad, honestly. Like, Pickle Rick is kind of the most overplayed joke on the internet. I feel like Pickle Rick is not that funny of a joke. It's a funny episode in the show, but it's just not that great, not that funny in my opinion. I'm glad they went with the Butterbot back bling, because that's a bit more iconic, maybe less iconic, but more. That's a better pick. I think the people who were in charge of doing those cosmetics really knew their stuff. So I'm really, really happy with what they did with that whole set. And Pickle Rick not being there doesn't bother me. In fact, I'm glad he's not, because that's probably one of the most obnoxious jokes that has come from Rick and Morty. So I'm glad they went with more of the I wouldn't say really subtle stuff, but more of this like things you wouldn't expect. I'm glad what they did with the set. I'm happy with what they did with that set, and yeah, it's really cool. I mean, we do get a bit of season 3 representation with the Toxic Rick, which was amazing episode. So I'm glad they did that. Yeah, that's just my opinions on that's my opinions on Pickle Rick not being in the game, I guess. I'm really happy with what they did with that set, honestly. So yeah, I won't really change anything about it, to be honest. Anyway, Fierce has a few podcast questions. Do you already have the future of Brim in mind? If so, can we get a sneak peek? So the future of Brim, we have a plan. We have a plan. I can't really say anything because I don't want to spoil much, but we do have a plan for at least the next, like including season 2, the next 4 seasons. We have kind of in mind. We've made versions of pretty much all of them, and we've kind of expanded on ideas before, but there's definitely a lot of things that we haven't fully decided on. There's a lot of things that we're still kind of trying to figure out. So a lot of the stuff that we haven't planned right now might not even happen. You never know. We've had to scrap things. We've had to change things. We've had to redo things. I think the plan we have right now is really good. I just think we need to tweak a lot of things, just change something. It's kind of hard to explain. I can't really say any specifics about it. But we do have a plan. We've had a plan for a very long time now. We've changed that plan. We've done a new plan. We've made seasons. We've deleted seasons. We've redone seasons. We've had storylines. We've changed storylines. So the plan we have right now might not be the same thing we have tomorrow. You never really know. But in terms of everything, like everything's ready for season 2. Everything past that is planned out. We know everything. We've made concepts of the maps and what we want them to look like. But things change. Things change a lot. And I'll say one thing for a fact: season 2 was going to be completely different, and we kind of changed it. So if that goes to show, honestly, season 2, the whole chapter was going to be completely different. I mean, the season 1 map was pretty much stayed the same. The early versions of it were very different. Not like insanely different. It's pretty much the same map. We never really had to redo the whole entire map. But we've made a bunch of seasons that are never going to see the light of day. So it's interesting. There's been a lot of changes, but yeah, we do have plans. We do have quite a lot of plans, but I can't really say anything about it. I can't really say much about it, but we do plan to continue what we've built upon. And I'm just excited for you guys to see a lot of it. And season 2, I think, is going to be a lot of fun. So I can't wait for that. Fierce also asks, how often do you brush your teeth? Every day. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Ninja Team from Ninjago? It's obviously Ninjago Ninja Team. I don't know how you could even... I don't know. I mean, I guess it's whatever you grew up with, but most people listening to this probably grew up with Ninjago, if anything. So, yeah, I Ninjago Team for sure. That's who I'd pick. All right, so Dramatron asks, what's your opinion on cheesy garlic bread? Now, I do like me some garlic bread. I haven't had a lot of cheesy garlic bread in the past, but I'm sure it's very, very good. I just haven't had a lot of it to really judge it. But I would say I would say I have a pretty good opinion on cheesy garlic bread. I think that does sound pretty good. Is a Kit Kat a chocolate bar or a biscuit? Now, that's a hard one. I feel like when I think of Kit Kats, I think chocolate bar. But I can see how you could argue it's a biscuit. But I'm going to say it fits more into the category of chocolate bar. Because you don't see them selling Kit Kats at a biscuit shop. You see them selling them with candy bars. Kit Kats are always sold in the candy aisle. I'm not going to a bakery and seeing Kit Kats. So I'm gonna call it a candy bar, but you could argue either way. And finally, he asks, what was the best pre-chapter 2, or what was the best season pre-chapter 2 season 3? So the best season before chapter 2 season 3, which, if you don't know, chapter 2 season 3 is definitely my favorite season of all time. But my favorite season before that, which would pretty much be my second favorite season in general, I would believe. It'd have to be a Chapter 1 season for sure. Probably Chapter 1. The first thing that comes to my head is Chapter 1, Season 5, or Chapter 1, Season 4. Season 4 was very simple, but not a lot happened. I feel like if we got Season 4 nowadays, we would have not been very happy with it. We would have said it's really boring. Because really not a ton happened. We got shopping carts. We got playground mode, which is really cool. Season 5 was really good, though. I really liked Season 5. I loved the map changes that season. I just was not a fan of the spray meta. I will say that. So that was a bit of a downside. In terms of Season 6, I didn't really love that season. I liked it a lot, but not a lot happened. Season 7 was really cool, but I just don't really care for the map changes for the most part. I liked the snow biome a lot, but I didn't really like any of the POIs that were in it. Season 8 was not a huge fan of, did not play it really at all. Season 9, I look back on it and it looks like it was a lot of fun, but didn't really play it much at all either. So I think I'm going to have to go with Season 5, would be my favorite pre-Chapter 2 Season 3, and probably my second favorite season next to Chapter 2 Season 3. I'd probably rank it like that. And yeah, that's how I'd rank it, I think. Also, we got a question from Kenshin. One, you do a little trolling. I do a little trolling. I do a little trolling. If you're on the Discord server, you know we do a little trolling. Is there a secret foundation under the map Chapter 2? I don't know if you're talking about Brim Royale, but if you are, then I can't really say anything about it. If you're talking about actual Fortnite, I don't know where the foundation is. I don't know what happened to him. Do you have Cypher PK hair or Allier hair? That's an interesting question. I'm not really sure what Allier's hair looks like. I've been told that my hair's similar to Cypher PK's on stream before, so I mean, I guess believe that as you will. I don't really know if I agree. I don't know what Allier's hair looks like, though. He seems to wear a hat most of the time, so I'm not really sure. But in terms of Cypher PK hair, I guess it would be closer to that, but I don't think it's really similar to either. I wouldn't think so. But that is an interesting question. Swirls of my ass, what's your opinion on Fortnite saying exotic and mythic weapons are not coming to creative anytime soon? I think that's just, I don't know why. I mean, if I'm being honest, exotics and mythics would be cool, but I'm not like begging for it. I think it would be a cool addition, but it's not something that I feel like is necessary that they add. But the argument that they said for it was that they said that that they belong to BR, so they're not going to add them, which is really weird. I don't know why that would be a good reason to not add them. I think I would have been fine if they just said, "Oh, it's too hard to add them. We don't want to port them because it takes a lot of time." I would have accepted that answer, but they straight up just said that they're not interested because they feel like it belongs to BR. And maybe that's something that the BR developers were like, no, you can't put this in creative because we have plans for this or something. I don't really know. I feel like most things that are out of the creative belong to BR at one point or Save the World. So I don't know what the deal with that is. I don't mind them not adding it. It's just the answer that they gave us is the weird part. It's just weird. I don't know how I feel about it. I think that if they had a better reason for it, I would be more accepting of it. But overall, I'm not like begging for mythics and stuff to be in the game. I don't think that it's necessary. I don't think it's a necessity that they come to the creative. I think we can live without them, at least me personally. But I know a lot of people really do want them in the game, so it's unfortunate that they probably won't come to creative ever. Which is the unfortunate thing. But yeah. Also, Age Rolls asked if you could make a comedy movie, what would it be, or what would it be? And honestly, I want to answer this question, but I really don't have an answer to give you. Honestly, I wish I had a creative enough mind to think of a funny answer to that. But I really can't. I don't know if I were to make a comedy movie, what would it be? I don't know. I would have to think about that. For a long time. So unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to answer that question. But thank you for the question. I do appreciate it. And yeah, that is pretty much all the questions we got for today's podcast. I'm sure there will be a lot more once we get a community tab up and running, but I do appreciate all the questions that you guys gave me. If you guys want to give me more questions, the comment section is always there. You can type your questions in the comment section of this video, or just say what you thought about the podcast. And yeah, I think that's about gonna do it for this episode. Hopefully future episodes will be a bit longer. But I think this was a pretty good length for a podcast episode. Around 45 minutes to an hour is what they're normally going to be. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the return to the podcast. This isn't as triumphant as a return as I wanted it to be. But I wanted to make sure this podcast actually got out this week. So I didn't disappoint a bunch of people who were expecting it. But hopefully next week we'll have the dev team episode. If not, we'll have it eventually, I'm sure. And also, I hopefully plan to have some interesting guests on the podcast at some point as well. So if there's any guests you want to see on the podcast, let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. If you made it all the way to the end of the podcast, thank you so much. Just for listening to me just babble on about things. I forgot how weird it feels to record these. It feels like I'm recording something that no one's going to care about, but I know for a fact there's some people that will listen to this all the way through, and that will hopefully enjoy it. So while this may not have been the strongest return to the podcast, hopefully future episodes are better. I'm just happy to be back. I'm happy to be recording the podcast again. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me talk about nonsense for 40 minutes. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. There I go with the stuttering again. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for 1K. That rhymed for some reason. This podcast is going off the rails. I better end it now. So thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.